Ball bearings. Well, it's not often you hear a review started with that. Why start like that? Well, today we'll be looking into different types of BBs. Because, believe it or not, there are more types than you first think. Hello and welcome to AAR on Air. Yes, today we'll be talking ball bearings, or BBs, as they are more commonly known in the shooting fraternity. I should explain really how this review came about. You see, I love replica type CO2 pistols, etc. But I've made it quite plain that I don't care for BBs simply because of the ricochet problem that plagues them. They don't deform like a lead pellet, they keep their shape and fly off in all directions around a garden or garage or wherever you're shooting, becoming a bit of a hazard not only for the shooter but for everyone in the vicinity. Now, before anyone shouts pellet catcher, watch this. I didn't shoot a BB gun in the garage with the car in there. I'd be risking a new screen or paint damage. It's bad enough putting the cameras and the lighting gear at risk. So I have in the past tried various other options to the standard steel BBs, including full lead, copper coated, all to try and avoid this ricochet issue. Then Karl at Draper's put these in front of me and suggested I give them a try. They are Dust Devils by Venturi. They claim they are the revolutionary new frangible BBs. Frangible, eh? Well, I had to check that out. First of all, it means something that doesn't just deform. It must pretty much disintegrate. They also claim they give velocities of up to 10% faster than conventional BBs. And finally, there has to be the accuracy issue to check out. So, time to take out a BB weapon of choice and test them to destruction. Literally, I hope. If we're going to do a test, then let's test steel, lead, copper coated and the Dust Devils. And of course I'm talking 4.5mm here and not 6mm airsoft. 4 tests for each then. Power, accuracy, a test I'll call fitability, and that all-important ricochet issue. First up then, power. I must point out that I will be using a chrono and quoting feet per second, but because these are so widely varying in weight, the leveler will be the foot-pound figure to show differences in power. Standard BBs then. I have a real assortment, but they're all effectively the same in weight, material, size, etc. My intention was to use 2 different types of gun because experience tells me that some guns are very BB size fussy. And it may be these different types of BBs don't suit all guns. This would be the fitability part of the testing. It's as well I did because one of the guns I chose, a favourite of mine, the KWC P08 Luger, and it refused to shoot anything but standard steel BBs, and it simply jammed up with any of the other 3. So bear that in mind before you rush out to buy any of the others. And no, sadly, I cannot give you a full list of which guns are fussy and which ones won't shoot which BBs. I'm afraid it's a little bit of trial and error. The only thing I can say is they will all shoot the standard fly everywhere so keep your head down steel BBs. The gun I felt confident in being able to shoot whatever I put through it was the Umarex SA-10. This thing would probably shoot nail clippings if you tried. Power figures then. The standard steel BB 5.37 grains gave an average of 317 feet per second, which is 1.64 foot-pounds or 2.22 joules. The lead at a heavier 8.1 grains gave an average of 264 feet per second, which is 1.27 foot-pounds or 1.72 joules. The copper-coated lead at 7.4 grains gave an average of 294 feet per second, which is 1.42 foot-pounds or 1.93 joules. Then it was the turn of the Dust Devils. Now remember, they claimed to be 10% faster, and sure enough, they gave an average of 369 feet per second, which is considerably faster than all the rest. But bear in mind they do only weigh in at 4.35 grains, which is just over half the weight of the lead ones. So you'd expect them to be faster. What about the foot-pounds then? Well, they came in at 1.32 foot-pounds or 1.78 joules, which is quite respectable, but only puts them in third place out of these four. But so far, so good. Next up then, accuracy. Now remember, the SA-10 is not a pellet-on-pellet accurate gun, but should prove consistent in this test. First up, the steel BBs. I suppose this should be looked upon as the benchmark and is a reasonable result from a standard 8-metre distance. Then the lead. Again, not too shabby. Now the copper coated. A little wider of the mark. And finally then, the Dust Devils. For plinking, this, in my mind, is quite acceptable. Not a competition winner by any means, but good enough for plinking. Now the last test is probably the most important in my mind, because even though we've done power and accuracy, for the most part CO2 BB pistols are not about match accuracy, and they're certainly not about out and out power machines to go out and down a wildebeest with. They are about safe back garden plinking for most of the time. So the more deformation or disintegration, the better, provided it isn't at the cost of all out loss of accuracy, which we've already tested. So I first devised a little test to explore the deformation characteristics of each. Sounds very grand. In my usual non-scientific Blue Peter style way, I am going to drop a heavy weight on each from a set height and measure the results. First, the steel. As you can see, Not only did it not deform in any way, shape or form, it actually dented the steel weight. Let's have a look at lead then. This is a fair deformation and shows that some of the energy has been absorbed and hence would reduce the ricochet potential. Copper coated next. Again, a good level of deformation and energy absorption, which again would reduce the potential ricochet. Finally then, the dust devils. That is what I call a result. And as they say, proof that it's done what it says on the box. Complete and utter destruction. It's actually quite amazing just how little there is left of those BBs. In conclusion then, the dust devils are indeed then faster as claimed in fact. They do disintegrate to tick that frangible claim. They are also, in my mind, accurate enough, but sadly they don't fit all guns. They are also, however, suitable in magnetic loading guns, which is another plus. So, overall, I wouldn't suggest you throw away all your steel BBs just yet, but I would suggest you add some of these to your ammo cupboard, because they are a major plus in the guns that they fit in. And I, for one, will definitely buy some to use in some of my less BB fussy guns and cut down that ricochet.